As I was walking away, she says she is getting really sick of my behavior. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Aura Zone Stories. Today we have a story where this woman wanted badly to get back with her husband after the divorce. Let's see what happened afterwards. I found out my now ex-wife had been cheating on me last year when she was 6 months pregnant. The affairs happened before and during the pregnancy. She had reasons and excuses and didn't want to get a divorce. She wanted to stay together and do couples therapy. I told her to go ahead and get therapy, but cheating was a deal breaker for me, so we got a divorce. The house was mine before we got married, so she moved back in with her parents, who had enough room to set up a nursery and give my ex the guest room. We agreed to an even 50-50 split of custody. My wife has our daughter Sunday to Wednesday, and the original plan was for her to drop her off at daycare on Wednesday morning, and my nanny picked her up around noon and brought her back to my house, where my daughter would stay with me until Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on what worked best for everyone. Then my ex said she thought the daycare was misplacing some things she was sending in for her to bring to my house, because a few times our daughter came home short some bottles or without her binky. So ex said she wanted to drop our daughter off at our house directly to make sure all of her things get to me. So she started picking her up from daycare on her breaks and dropping her off here. I work from home Wednesdays and Fridays. Even so, I'm working. When ex began dropping off Nadine at my house, it was normally about 12:30 p.m. My daughter's nanny, nice old lady from Barbados, not sure of her age but I'd say late 50s to 60s, was the one to answer the door for my ex and take my daughter and her things, since I was in my office working. Ex began saying she wanted to speak to me directly when she dropped off. She said she felt like she was unloading a lot on the nanny and didn't want her to forget to tell me anything. I would be lying if I said I didn't still have some resentment and anger towards my ex. I don't want my daughter to see that though, so when I talk to my ex I try to be as emotionally even as possible. Just talk about the things that pertain to my daughter and no more. At today's drop-off, Nadine had a dirty diaper, so her nanny took her upstairs to change her. My ex asked me how I was doing and I told her I was fine, thank you, and then began to walk back to my office. She sees herself out, she used to live there. As I was walking away, she says, "You know, I'm getting really sick of your behavior." I didn't even get a chance to ask her what behavior she was talking about when she just started freaking out, saying I was emotionally manipulating her by being cold and distant, that she shouldn't be punished forever for her mistakes, and how me hating her is the same as me hating my daughter. I let her finish yelling and then told her to leave. I think my best bet is to go no contact with her again and not see her for drop-offs anymore. But I was looking for some other perspectives or opinions on the matter if you might have them. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who took the time to comment their support, sympathies, and advice. There were so many great suggestions. Someone suggested a website called Talking Parents, which I believe is going to be a great resource for my ex-wife and I. The thing I need to keep reminding myself is that in 5 or 10 years, the negative and betrayed feelings I have for my ex-wife will most likely fade. But a hostile relationship between the two of us will impact our daughter forever. Because of this, I sat down with my ex-wife and had a recorded conversation about our situation. I was very open and honest with her. I told her that I still had negative feelings towards her as my ex-wife, but as the mother of my child I would always treat her civilly and respectfully, but we had to have boundaries. I told her that we are going back to the original plan where she drops her off at the daycare Wednesday mornings, and my nanny picks her up in the afternoon. We're going to communicate through the website which items should be sent home with her, so the nanny can double check to make sure she has everything. My ex-wife isn't happy. I think she was coming to my house in hopes of reconciliation, but I told her respectfully, but in no uncertain terms, that it was never going to happen. But I would love to evolve our relationship as awesome co-parents to an amazing little girl, and maybe one day, friends. Again, thank you to everyone who took the time to reply to my posts. This community has been a wonderful resource for me. I hope you all have a wonderful night. He is handling this well. She's probably more angry that her actions have consequences, and she can't manipulate him out of holding her to those consequences. This is just so mature and healthy, and I'm really proud of him for it. He is absolutely doing the right thing for his daughter. Navigating the whole co-parent thing will have its ups and downs, but hold to the attitude you wrote here no matter what. Keep yourself clear. Hopefully things will go as smoothly as possible, though there may be setbacks and worse times ahead. Your ex has issues. Things won't get better overnight, and she may get worse before she gets better. That kind of selfishness can be hard to overcome. Cheaters are disgusting, but at the end of the day you have a lovely daughter and so many wonderful times ahead with her. I'm sorry for the pain you've gone through. Wishing you happiness in the future. I also ended a marriage with a cheater. Turns out I didn't know what I was missing until I had a partner who actually loves and respects me. They are decent people out there. I had been in a relationship with my partner for 10 years. We had both met each other a year and a half after leaving other bad relationships. After 5 years of dating, I asked her to marry me, 2015, as she presented herself as the perfect woman for me. I had introduced her to my family and children who thought we were perfect together, and I had met hers. She lived in 8 miles away from my house and had to have lodgers to help with her mortgage. Mid-2016, she put her house up for sale to move in with me. By this time, I was never invited to her house, as she said due to her lodgers, we would not have any private time, so she would always come to me. We were both teachers with busy careers, and I would see her only twice a week, and rarely would she stay over. Excuses of no clothes for work the next day, or had work she needed to complete on her computer. The house sale always seemed to run into problems, and she would tell me of viewings not going well. This continued for the next 2.5 years. During this time, we never went on holiday, had Christmas or New Year together, no Valentine's Day or birthday together, always the day before. I retired early in 2019 and booked our wedding day for the 1st of August 2020. In the UK, first lockdown came at the end of March 2020. I asked her to come and spend lockdown with me, but she said she couldn't leave her house as it was a rough area and she was worried it would be broken into. Despite me assuring her I would go and check on it twice a week, I just wanted her here with me. After a month, she finally came to stay with me, and we had the most wonderful, comfortable time. She had her family who lived 140 miles away down south and had always said she needed to go and see them many weekends or during school holidays. I was never asked to go with her. After coming to me for 10 days in lockdown, she told me her age 92 father was in his care home and had gone into a coma, and she needed to go and be with him and her sister. She left that day at 3:30 p.m. to drive 140 miles down south. 3 days later, I had a gut feeling she did not want to be with me and had just gone back to her house. As I had not been there for 4 years, I decided to drive unannounced to see if she had gone back. Her car was not there, and so I walked back to my car to go home. At that point, her neighbor came out, and I asked her if she had seen the blonde women who lived there. Her reply, she sold up and moved ages ago. I drove home in a daze. Text her, our main source of communication, to say I knew she had sold her house. She declared she had sold it the previous year and couldn't tell me as she was having cold feet about us getting married. She promised to come and talk to me when she got back from her father in the coma. I eventually discovered that she had sold her house 2.5 years earlier, and only 7 months after our engagement in 2015 had moved her ex-partner into her house as a lodger, and had restarted her relationship with him, but still kept me thinking I was her only man. She says it was only a short relationship and realized it was a mistake, and only had bedroom activity with him 5 times. But she declares after a few months he had gone back to his ways, and had trapped her into staying for the next 4.5 years to take care of him, so he wouldn't find me and tell me, all the time still seeing me, but never saying a word about it. My daughter found his social media page, and there were pictures of the two of them together from 2016 through to 2020. Going on foreign holidays every year, Spain, Cyprus, Madrid, etc., and evidence of looking to buy a house together, as they had moved out of the house she sold into rented accommodation. She said all of this was just to keep him happy, so she could get away and be with me. She has told me of all the coercive behavior he inflicted on her, and still professes absolute love and adoration for me. When all of this was discovered, she left him and moved into a rented house in my town to be close to me. There has been a lot of heartache, tears, and apologies, but after a period of time I needed her to move away from me, September 2022, and she went to be with her family down south. She was the absolute love of my life, and is still contacting me on a daily basis, saying she misses me and will always love me, and hopes we can be reunited. All of this has broken me completely, and now as a man of 60, who has had his life crushed, I don't know what to do or who I am. This woman seemed perfect for me and I am lost. I feel I have wasted 10 years of my life that I will never get back, and will end up being alone the rest of my life. Her descriptions of being coerced by him are horrendous, and a part of me feels so sorry for her, as she was always a kind, loving, and caring woman. There is so much more detail I know, but I have made this post so long now. Thank you for anyone who reads this, and for any advice or support you could give me, particularly if you have experienced anything similar to this crazy situation. Thank you. She lied and manipulated him all this time. He shouldn't believe anything that she has told him. Best thing for him is to block her in all communication and go out and find someone that truly loves him. I caught my wife having an affair right after Thanksgiving. We have been married for 14.5 years now. She met a guy at a bar during girls' night, gave him her number, and they began having an emotional affair. Then it progressed and she slept with him, and I found messages where they planned to be together forever. I work out of town for 3 days out of the week, and she told me that she was lonely and I didn't pay her enough attention. I was devastated to the point that I couldn't really function. I left the house and went to my parents while she stayed in the house with our 2 daughters. I begged her not to do this multiple times, and she told me that she wasn't happy, and that she found someone that could make her happy. I got a lawyer and started the divorce process. We already have a split made and now it's just finalizing the process. I started dating a woman and it was going pretty well. She was pretty much everything you could want in a woman. She was highly educated, fit, funny, has a great career, has her own money, etc. She wanted commitment from me that I couldn't give, because I am still very much in love with my wife. So I broke it off with her and called my wife again to beg her to take me back. I'm actually ashamed of me crying to her and pleading. She again told me no, and said that she was happier now than she ever was with me. The very next weekend I planned to take my oldest daughter out for dinner since I haven't had one-on-one time, and my youngest was staying with a friend. I show up to the house to pick my daughter up, and I invite my wife thinking that she would decline. She accepted and went to dinner with us. We had a nice dinner and great conversation. My daughter stayed the night with me, and I thought that was the end of it. When I dropped my daughter off the next day, my wife said that she wanted to fix our marriage. We ended up writing emails back and forth, and she told me the things that she didn't like about me were things that she saw me fix while I have been without her. When I pressed her about what changed her mind, she ended up telling me that the guy that she was sleeping with rejected her and blocked her on all platforms. Now that I know this, it makes me not want to be with her. I don't want to be her safe and second choice. She's the love of my life, and I want her to love me like I love her. It disgusts me that she was intimate with another man in my house and in my bed. On the other hand, I will never be able to love someone as much as I love her. I know that if I work it out with her, that my children's lives will be better because of it. She also wants me to get a different job that will allow me to be home every night, and that would severely limit my upward trajectory in the company I work for. She flat refuses to move for the sake of my job, and she expects me to sacrifice my career for our marriage that she destroyed. I don't know what to do in this situation. I feel like if the other man was still around, she would be with him, and she wouldn't care about me. I think she was more upset that her affair of 8 weeks ended than she was about our 14-year marriage ending. Any advice would be appreciated. He has already sacrificed so much. If the marriage means anything to her, she will compromise more to accommodate the greater good of his relationship and his family. She has already been selfish. She needs to be selfless for a change. She sounds like she is settling. I know he loves her and his daughters, but she only loves herself. He must be careful looking after someone who shows him who they are. It really seems like she only wants you back because she has no other options and you're doing okay without her, which scares her and makes you more appealing. If she were sincere, she'd have dumped the guy herself, so I don't like the circumstances of her desire to reconcile. Please take this to a couples counselor or therapist. Regardless of what you ultimately decide, you should stay separated while you figure it out. Don't move back in with her anytime soon. Try to leave all discussions about the future of your relationship to a therapist's or counselor's office. They will know the best way to go about making this decision and know the relevant questions to ask. Even if your wife was seeing someone, which she absolutely should not have been. But she is the cheater here, it was definitely too soon for you to start dating anyone. It's only been a couple of months and you're not mentally or emotionally ready for her that. You need to heal before you even consider that. Good luck with whatever you conclude.